Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and today we're going to get some insight into women's sports. My guest today is Kim Jones. She is the co-founder of ICONS. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so usually I start my guests where you went to school. So where'd you go to school?
I went to Stanford University. Out in California.
So let's just go back in time before we get into ICONS and what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in high school, did you start freshman year, senior year? When did you start thinking about going to college?
Significantly later than kids do these days. So I started thinking about going to college way early, but where I was going to go and considering what my options might be, probably not till junior year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was Stanford the only school, or did you get recruited by a whole bunch?
Yes, recruited by many.
Okay. And how come you picked Stanford?
Well, for me, Stanford was a great fit. I was a tennis player, and Stanford had a fantastic tennis coach and a legendary program, so it seemed like a great opportunity. I was excited about the school, and the kids I met on campus during my recruiting trip just seemed like a great set of peers to me.
So now you're at Stanford. Tell us what the school is about.
Stanford was about intellectual curiosity, which I think is a common thread for anyone who's going to college, but for me, it was the passion and energy that I was surrounded by to reach new heights, to look for excellence in everything you did, and to really explore the options and how you could impact and influence the world. And everyone was so excited about these options that it was a great and enthusiastic place to be.
Good. So now you graduate.
Mm-hmm.
How does one go from graduating Stanford to becoming a co-founder of a company called ICONS?
ICONS, yeah, it was an interesting journey. So I was always passionate about sports. I ended up going to graduate school after undergrad immediately. So my degrees were in mechanical engineering. I worked in the tech industry for a while, but always stayed extremely connected to sports, stayed connected with the Stanford Athletic Department. I served on the board of the Stanford Athletic Department for a while. Ended up having 4 children who all share my enthusiasm for sports. My husband, like myself, was an athlete. We recognize the benefits of, mind, body. So sports has always been an integral part of what I have stayed involved in.
And so when did you start ICONS?
ICONS, the ideas for ICONS and the founding principles of it are many years old. Its official name and launch into a business is just in this last year. So we're about 8 months old now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does it stand for?
It stands for the Independent Council on Women's Sport.
Yeah. Okay. So now what do you actually do?
What we do is we act as a voice for female athletes. We are a network of current and former collegiate and professional athletes who want to see the voice of women represented at the table in decision-making bodies in the future of our sports. And we want to see an expanded and celebrated world of women's sports going forward. We didn't see that an organization like this existed as a powerful network to link women who've been passionate about sports together, so we formed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, what do you actually do?
We protect the sex-based rights of women and girls in sport, and we want to ensure their equal opportunity, fair treatment, and promotion going forward. We help provide them with links to the information and the people that have come before them, inspired them, help them on their way, but most importantly right now we work with governing bodies of sport. We work with legislatures and politicians to help them understand just how important and empowering women's sports are. They're just a foundational part of women's success in society, so we're able to be viewed and view ourselves as champions.
So now tell me, do you work with the NCAA, the NAIA, junior colleges? Do you work with all of the different bodies?
Anyone and everyone, yeah. So anyone who's interested in learning more about women's sports, what it means to us, the science behind it, what we need in the rules and regulations, the protections, how important it is for the connections in community and their universities and around them, we will work with anyone.
And you work with all the schools?
All the schools, absolutely. We're right now trying to work more closely with the NCAA and gain their attention. That's why we've been here at this conference.
So now, the issues, what are some of the issues that have come up that you're dealing with?
Yeah, so Title IX is a big issue right now. It's a 50-year-old law that we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of, and it is the singular law that protects women from discrimination on the basis of sex in the United States. It had a robust impact on women's sports, consequently, because it allowed women sporting opportunities, or protected their sporting opportunities equal to that of men. Title IX has not been defended as much as it should be in the last few decades, so we've seen a waning support and check and balance on whether or not women are actually receiving what they were intended to be receiving from the passing of that law. Mm-hmm. But the most important thing right now is women's sports are under threat from rules and policies that actively discriminate against them. Women's sports categories exist because we are a separate, we are not men. Right. We need a separate competitive category, and the boundaries around competitive categories are what allow for the inclusion of different groups of people in sport. When women's sports boundaries are allowed to be breached by men being allowed to identify as women and come in and compete in sport, it removes the integrity of women's sport. It removes the foundational principle of fairness. And it turns women's sport into a participation category instead of an opportunity for us to celebrate our physical limits and for us to be role models and champions, have our ribbons, medals counted equally.
What does your organization want to win at doing something like this?
What do we want to win at? What we want to win at is making sure that women are viewed as equals in society. We want to make sure that every little girl and every competitor, every professional athlete is viewed as a person who, in her own right, can achieve and be celebrated as what women are capable of. Mm-hmm. That our dreams are as valuable, that our accomplishments are as valuable, and that we have the chance to go after those and be represented.
So now, do you also, you said before you talk to politicians and things of that sort. Is the government getting involved with you? Are they trying to help you?
Yes, by and large, we have a lot of support. Overwhelming support. So I think the biggest problem that we face is silence. So we need people to be vocal in supporting and defending women's sports and in speaking up for what's right, for understanding that our sports matter as they should be as equally as important as men's sports.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, the future of ICONS, what do you want to see as you move along, month to month, year to year?
Well, we'd like to see an increase in participation rates, an increase in women feeling confident to speak out, an increase in governing bodies of sport being willing to bring women to the table. There should be a woman at the table with the rule makers and decision makers every time something is on the docket that might influence women's sports. We would like to see women be their own advocates, and we would like to see those who believe that women are equal members of society speak up and understand there's nothing to fear and this is something to celebrate.
Sure. Now, how about promotions and things of that sort? Do you work on any types of promotions? How do you get people involved with this?
Okay. So yeah, we come to conferences, we hold monthly webinars, we have an email outreach, we are active on social media, we have an annual conference. We are trying to recruit volunteers to help us out with outreaches, with setting up chapters, If you're involved in a certain sport, we have chapters within the sports that are, for instance, we right now have a very active rowing community, so it's comprised of about 8 Olympians that work with their, they're phenomenal women, that work with their governing bodies of sport and work with the youth and parents that are involved in their sport, trying to provide them guidance, how they can influence their governing body, trying to get meetings with their governing body, and trying to help support the community of rowers, keep girls engaged and involved, work for outreach policies, and to make sure that the young women who are involved in those sports know the avenues that they can take to find success in college, to find success, moving on in masters.
Now, how about membership? Are they just women that are members, and do you have to be just a college sports person?
No, not at all. We've got youth members, we have collegiate athletes, we have professional athletes, we have masters athletes. And while our network is officially for female athletes, and former and current, our organization actively would love members, that anyone who's excited about women's sports or who has a mother, sister, daughter, or a friend that is passionate about women's sports, and they want to see those opportunities expand for those folks as well.
So what do they get when they become a member? What happens?
So if you sign up on our website, www.iconswomen.com, you can join the network, which gives you an opportunity to actually be a member of the athlete network, or you can just be a member or stay informed. You will get weekly or bi-monthly, at least, email updates about what we're up to. You would be notified of our annual conferences. You would have an opportunity to help form or be part of a chapter in a particular sport if you're interested in that. You would be connected with ways to reach out to your politicians, your governing body. So and you would be part of conversations, hopefully on a regular basis if you join in on those webinars, to learn from some of the most amazing and celebrated accomplishments and accomplished athletes in every sport.
So now we're coming to the end of our show.
Okay.
And usually I ask my guests, what advice do you want to give to the parents and the students that are watching? What advice do you want to give them?
So for anyone going to college.
Anyone going to college?
Seeking college.
Yes.
So my advice for college, for people who are prospective college students, find passions in your life, find things you're excited about. When you get to college, be a member of the community. Find things that you feel connected to in the community. Go to the events. Go to the sporting events. Go to the theatrical events. Find out what people are good at and passionate about. And for kids who are interested in college, I would say when you look at a college, find a place that suits your personality, where you feel like you're going to get an opportunity to grow and take advantage of every single thing that's available. Whether that's talking to people who work on the campus before you go, speaking with current students there and get a sense of the vibe, and then utilize the assets of the place that you land.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you've been watching The Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva. Until next time.